Have a look at this. This is a standard UK 3-pin plug. And this is a plug socket that you find in a UK bathroom. It's only got 2 pins. So why is that? Well, there's a very good reason. Turns out this isn't some weird historical accident, like something like driving on the left in the UK. This is deliberate, and it comes down to one thing that regulators in the UK take very seriously: water and electricity. They absolutely do not mix. Here's what most people don't know. British wiring regulation actually carves your bathroom into multiple zones, and these zones determine how close to water the wiring is. So, zone 0, that's literally inside the bath or the shower. Zone 1 is the space directly above the bath or shower, and zone 2 stretches about 60 centimeters out from that. And in almost all of those zones, not a single plug socket is allowed to exist. Not a recommendation, it's simply not allowed by law. The rulebook says you need to be 2.5 to 3 meters away from the bath or shower before you're allowed to install a standard 3-pin plug socket. And if you've ever seen a British bathroom or a British house, you'll know that 3 meters isn't a lot. Bathrooms just simply aren't big enough for that rule to be met and to be able to put a standard plug socket in the bathroom, which is why usually you then find them outside on the hallway just outside the bathroom. Now you may be thinking, other countries have plug sockets in their bathroom and they're fine. And you're right, they are fine. The difference is electricity in the UK runs at 230 volts, while in America their sockets run at 120 volts, which means double the voltage, double the danger, and double the shock if you do get shocked. And other countries have tried to solve this by inventing something called a GFCI outlet. And this is a socket which can detect a fault and cut the power within milliseconds. But the UK's approach is usually a lot blunter. If in doubt, just don't put a socket there at all. But here's the thing, you obviously need to shave, you need to charge your toothbrush, so how are you going to do that? Well, the UK has one exception to plug sockets in the bathroom. That little 2-pin plug that I showed you at the start of the video, it's got something inside called an isolating transformer. And what that does is completely disconnect the socket's output from the earthed main supply coming into your house. It creates what electricians call a floating circuit. Here's why that matters. If you're stood there dripping wet and something goes wrong, a normal shock works because electricity finds a path through you into the ground. But with an isolated floating circuit, there is no path to the ground. The current has nowhere to go. And that's why, in theory, you could drop a device like this into a sink full of water and not be electrocuted. But obviously, don't try that. And that's why these sockets also can't power something like a hairdryer. The transformers are deliberately small, usually rated between 20 to 50 VA. Because to isolate a full 13 amps safely, you'd probably need a transformer the size of a car battery inside of your bathroom. And so manufacturers keep it small and low power, and therefore is legal to be in your bathroom. And if you want more evidence about how paranoid British bathrooms can be about electricity, just look at some of the older bathrooms where they have a cord dangling down that you pull in order to turn on the light. It's the same logic. Keep anything a wet hand can touch away from the electricity. So next time you go into the bathroom and run yourself a bath, you can be pretty sure that you won't be electrocuted.